Hey guys, Doc. I'm going to answer your questions. I've asked you guys to answer some questions, and we got hundreds and hundreds of questions. And I'm going to talk to you real quick about my golden compass. What's my golden compass? Hold on one second, I'll tell you. Hey guys, so here's how we're going to set up this video. In the description below, not in the description, but down below, you're going to see a progress bar. And on that progress bar, you'll see breaks in it. If you hover over those, you'll see it actually has it broken out by chapters. Otherwise, this could be really boring if you had to sit and watch to get your answers. So you can hover your mouse or hover whatever, and you can see the different chapters. And here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to start off by, we're going to be answering your questions. We got hundreds of them. I'll start off with more of the personal stuff about me and stuff about the channel and that kind of stuff. And then we'll go into the lawn stuff. So that's how we'll break it apart. So let's talk about the, what is this golden compass that you're talking about, Doc? This is more of a moral and character compass. I have one of these and I keep it on my desk. Yes, it's an actual compass, but it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder if you're in business, just a good way to live your life. If you do YouTube videos, it's a good reminder. And let me tell you why. One of the questions I got was, how come you don't talk crap like a lot of the other people on YouTube do? You don't talk bad about products. You don't talk bad about people. And I think it just shows a weakness in a person's character when you start to do that. Doesn't it sound like it when people start gossiping about, it's like all this little gossip about someone else, bad talking products, bad talking people? You don't win from that. I own 3 small businesses. And one of my rules in business, one of the ways that only ways you can get fired for me in business is talk crap about another person, talk crap about another product. We use the philosophy of positive blinders, which is we put on our blinders, we look forward, and we only talk positive about what we're doing and the products that we're doing. When you start to get into this little gossipy crowd, it really sounds weak. It sounds so pathetic. It sounds like you're in junior high school, not even high school. It sounds like junior high school. People just, yeah, well, did you? I just don't do it. And you don't know these people. I don't know these people. And it's almost there. What's interesting is it's actually, if you want to make videos on YouTube and you want to have your videos monetized, one way that you can get demonetized is by actually talking bad about an individual. Yes, you can get your videos and your entire channel demonetized that way. So that's one reason. But the other reason is just, it sounds so stupid and childish. It really does. One. It's a rule of thumb that I live by. It's a rule of thumb. I try and pass on my little golden compass to my kids. I pass it on to everyone that's in my company, and we don't do it. We don't practice it. I don't think you can go through all my videos and all the years. I'm sure you might find one or two, but we do not talk bad about people, and we do not talk bad about other products. If I'm focusing on a product, and especially if I make the product, I never talk bad about a competitor's product. I just don't do it. It just sounds stupid. If I buy a product and I don't like the product, I won't do a review on it. I'll just go aside and I'll look for another product that I like. That's the way I operate. So why don't I talk crap? Because it's immature and there's a moral compass that just won't let me do it. I won't participate in it. So the next one is, Doc, why don't you do collaborations? Number one, I think they're kind of stupid. I'm sorry. Here I am talking bad about someone. I just don't like the whole collaboration thing. I really believe in individuality. And if you want to go look at a group of people doing things, that's fine. But I really like the individuality. And that's what I've always based my videos on and my channels on is just connecting with you one-on-one. And that's the way I do it. I try and teach as much as possible. The other issue is time. I own three businesses, three small businesses. I have a fabrication metal shop. I have a marketing and advertising company, and I have an investment company. I have two houses. I have this house and I have the beach house. I take care of 4 lawns plus the front entrance. I've got 2 older kids. I've got a granddaughter. I'm working 7 days a week. Typically, my days are 11 to 14 hours long. My computer goes on at 5 a.m. every single morning, and I'm working with customers overseas. It's just nonstop. I don't have the time. And when I do get a break, I'm going to be either hunting or fishing or doing something outdoors or spending time with my family. I don't have time for it. I go nonstop. I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate that in the later years of my life, the past 20 years, I've been rather successful. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, but the past 20 years, I've been very successful. I can actually quit and retire. I don't have to work, but I do it because I enjoy it. I like being busy, but I enjoy my free time too. So I'm just very fortunate that way, but I just don't like to collaborate. I just don't like to do it. It's just kind of weird to me. Let's talk real quickly about thumbs down on videos. There's something called thumbs down actually help videos. I don't know if you know that. Some really big YouTubers did studies on this, and actually they asked everyone to push thumbs down, and the video just went crazy. It's called YouTube Analytics is very, very sophisticated. And so it doesn't really matter whether it's a thumbs down or a thumbs up. They count it as an engagement. A click on a thumbs down or thumbs down is an engagement. A comment is an engagement. A share is an engagement. And they look for those engagements. That's one of the metrics that they use. So if someone gives you a thumbs down on your video, it actually helps your video. So I want to thank the haters. And why do you say that? Because there's something out there called hater subscribers. And they're people that subscribe to your channel because they want to hurt you. And so as soon as your video publishes, within 30 seconds, you'll see 13 thumbs down. And YouTube knows that. They're actually helping your channel. So if you hate it, click thumbs down. If you like it, click, I don't care, whatever you want to do. But no, thumbs down, it's just the hater subscribers. Moderation of comments. Yes, we moderate all the comments, and I'll explain why. 10% of the people on this earth are idiots. 90% are good people. On YouTube, I would say 75% are good people, 25% are idiots. That's just the way it is. People just get keyboard courage, or they're just evil people. I'll give you an example of 2 comments. These are real comments, and there's hundreds of them. I posted up a video on generators during a hurricane, and someone put on there, "Hope you and your family die during the hurricane." Real comment. That was a real comment. Matter of fact, I even took a screenshot of it and I sent it to one of my friends and said, "Dude, this guy has just got to be pure evil." Someone was talking about Barb and said, "Oh, is Barb getting the big D?" And I'm like, dude, Barb is a 76-year-old widow that goes to church every Sunday and probably is over there reading her Bible, sweet little old lady. And I'm like, it's just pure evil, dude. So yes, we moderate all of our comments. and it's just, hey, if you want a channel, make your own channel and you can do whatever you want, but we moderate all of our comments. Okay, so now let's get into, I want to talk about the products real quick. People ask, do you buy your own? I buy all my own products. That's one of my rules. I don't think I ever maybe once in a while, but I tell everybody that I work with that we buy and pay for our own products. Even Anderson's, all the Anderson's products I order through Amazon. Anderson's doesn't send me anything. I order all my products through Amazon. They come in through Amazon. Everything that I review, I purchase. It's one of my golden rules, because if you don't buy it and pay it for it yourself, you're not going to get an honest review on it. Again, if something's really crappy, I'm not going to do a review on it. I'll just move on. But we have people contact us all the time saying, "We want to send you this. Will you do a video?" No, I'm not going to do it. I find stuff that I think that you would be interested in, stuff that I need, stuff that I want to see, stuff that I want to test, and I buy it myself. I pay for it. So yes, all all this equipment I bought and paid for. So I think that's about it on the personal side and the doc stuff side. Let's talk about beach house updates. Someone asked about that. Let me see if I can throw up a clip real quick, because the beach house was all old looking wood, all the railings, and then the house itself was actually pink. And as of yesterday, I opened up my Blink system and I looked at it and it was green. I was like, holy cow, they got that done in one day. But the past 2 weeks, they've been painting all the white trim, and then the house is green, and it looks really sharp. It really goes so much better with the fence, and it has more of a beachy kind of look to it. I really like it. Just about everything's done. The countertops are in. They were installed after I left, and the flooring starts. When does the flooring start? In 5 days, we'll have the floors put in. So lots of progress down there. I'm going to be taking you down there. Someone asked about the lawns that I'll be doing. I'm still undecided. I want to really finish all the landscape work, and then I'll sort of decide on the lawns, because we're going to have to mix it up. Don't forget, a lot of these questions are covered in the Bermuda Lawn Guide. We'll put the guide up. That is a guide that walks you through warm season grasses, most of your warm season, including Bermuda. It's mainly for Bermuda, but step by step, and there's chapters in there. And you can go and say, I have grubs, what do I do? Go to the Bermuda Lawn Guide, and it'll walk you through that. So that's up. The Bermuda Lawn Calendar is up there as well too. So let's talk about hit some of these questions. Multiple treatments at the same time. That's always a question that comes up. And the question is, can I put down Humichar and pre-emergent? Or how long do I have to wait after I put down my pre-emergent before I start the Jumpstart program? So the answer to that is pretty simple. I don't really know of any treatments that you really can't do on the same day. As a matter of fact, I did a video that's called everything in one day. It's a video, and I go out and I put everything down. I think I did it at the entrance or something, or on a guy's lawn. I mean, we put down pre-emergent, we put down weed killer, we put down fertilizer, put down human. You can just put it all down there. I don't know of any real combination that you can't just put it down. Because a lot of your treatments you're going to really want to weather base them. In other words, you put them down on a dry soil that's not saturated just before rain, and then have them work in. So no, most of the time you can put down anything you want and put it down, just keep putting it down, put it all down the same day. Another question that I had was mixed grasses in yards. So a lot of people are saying, Doc, I've got Bermuda and I've got this type of grass moving into it. How do I kill that other grass and not hurt the Bermuda? Or I've got fescue and I've got this coming in. I'm going to put a link down below. I think this is how I'm going to do this. It's to the guys over at Do My Own. They sell a lot of your chemicals when it comes to herbicides. And when you go to that link, it's a question and answer. It'll take you to a question and answer page. There's going to be a search bar up there. And on that search bar, just type your question in, very limited. So like, kill nutsedge in Bermuda, or nutsedge in Bermuda. And you'll see roll down, and they have previous answered questions, and they'll tell you what will work for that situation. That's the first place I would go. I don't like to recommend a lot of herbicides, because if you're not careful with it, there's different circumstances, but these guys over there are really knowledgeable. And if you go first to that question and answer, put in your question very short, and don't make it real long, just real short, a few words. You'll start to see where people have asked that before. Trust me, your question has been asked before, and they'll tell you what to use on there. And then if you need to call them, and you can call them and ask them, or post your own question, they'll answer it. It's a great resource for weed killers, grass killers. That's what I recommend. Okay. So multiple treatments. We covered the mixed grasses. I want to kill a specific weed in a certain type of grass. I've got nutsedge and inside of Bermuda grass. What should I use? Again, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to go to that and type in nutsedge Bermuda or chickweed Bermuda or chickweed fescue. If you do that, same thing. You're going to see very specific answers to your questions. So again, in the description below, I'll link to this page, and on that page I'll say, here's the question thing I was talking about. You click on that, it'll go right to their question and answer page, which has all the stuff they've done for years. The answer will be there. Reel mowers. A lot of people are asking about why don't you use this type, product X? And a lot of these are like higher end reel mowers that are quite a bit more expensive. Why do I like the McLean so much? It's pretty simple. McLean really hasn't changed their mowers in about 30 years. It's kind of an old school US built, but I'm not a mechanic. I'm not going to take apart an engine, put it back together and say, yep, I guarantee it's going to work. But with the McLeans, they're simple enough that I can break them apart myself and I can work on them. That's number one. Number two rule that I have on reel mowers is that I need to be able to backlap it myself. I've done a ton of videos out there where I can backlap it in 15, 20 minutes. And I do that. We do that because we cut so much. We do it once a month. I will not buy a reel mower that I cannot backlap myself, period. I will not do it. I'm not going to buy one that I got to send my reel someplace or take it to someone to have it. With the McLeans, you can do it yourself. You can do it in 20 minutes pretty easily. And that's why I buy them. The third reason I like the McLeans is the third golden rule I have when it comes to reel mowers is buy one that's at least 25 inches wide. And I don't care what size lawn you have, but what ends up happening is, and this is tough to explain, if you have a 12-inch wide reel mower, it's going to follow independent rut marks. You're going to have a lot of wheel marks. Let's just take that up to the opposite end of the spectrum and think about a 48-inch wide reel mower. Now you got one big blade sort of leveling off all the independent ruts and everything else in your yard. The wider you go with a reel mower, typically the more forgiving it is on the cut patterns, and you'll have less wheel marks on your lawn. So I say, regardless of the size of your lawn, it's not based on lawn size, it's based on the cut pattern. You have to go to 25 and above. And really the only two that are out there that if you want to buy new, you got McLean and you got True Cut. The True Cut, the problem I have with True Cut, number one, you have to keep greasing them all the time. And number two, they're just real heavy. You get their wheels are really big. We still use our big True Cut. It's a workhorse. We use it for scalping. We use it for different things. But for finer cutting on a daily basis, 25 inch, and I'll link to it in the description, the one that I do. It's a 25 inch, has a front groove roller on it. And it's easy to use and it's easy to take care of. It's got a Honda engine on it. You can get it with a Briggs if you want. The ones I recommend have a Honda. That's just what I like. There are nicer reel mowers. Let me say that there are nicer reel mowers, but when you get into the nicer reel mowers, you start to break my golden rules, which is I can't work on it myself. I can't backlap it. All those different things. Grass seeds. Grass seed is pretty simple. You just have to understand that if you're a warm season person, it's opposite of a cool season. Warm season people, we want to seed as we're going into the warmer periods. So we want to start seeding depending on where you are, let's say in May or June. As soon as we get into the 80s, that's when we can start seeding the warm season like Bermuda. Cool season people, they tell you basically you don't seed until the fall because you don't want that new seed. That new seed may not survive the heat. Well, warm season, it survives the heat. So on warm season seeds, we actually plant late spring, early summer. In the fall, we plant cool seasons. We generally plant in the fall, generally speaking. And you have to understand with Bermuda grass is that there's two types. There's I guess you call it more of a hybrid specialty seed, and then there's common Bermuda. When you go to Lowe's, you go to Home Depot, or you order a cheap bag of Bermuda seed, it's going to be common Bermuda. You have to go on the website. If you look at, I have seeds, I have a page that says seeds, and you want a specialty seed. And a lot of people use stuff like Blackjack, Yukon, Princess 77. I think they may have replaced that anyways. But there are specialty seeds that sort of replicate the look of sod. So we never really overseed sod. If you have a sod lawn, you just encourage that to grow. We've shown that time and time again, that you don't have to, you never overseed a sodded lawn. You just repair it and make it come back. But if you want to do a seeding project, then you would buy a hybrid seed and not a common Bermuda seed, because the look of the two grasses is totally different. That's seeds. Biostimulants and super juice. What we've been doing, I'm really going to focus this year. Last year we did some stuff with the organic chicken feed. And why are we doing that? Well, if you didn't watch Gabe's video, as a matter of fact, I'll put it down below. That's the video that will change your life if you're a gardener. It's a 1-hour video, and people that have watched it, that I have told to watch it, they've left comments and they said, Doc, you're right. That was an absolutely amazing video. And what basically a lot of what he talks about, not only adding carbon to the soil, but he talks about monocultures, which is stop planting one species, all corn, all wheat, all whatever in your fields, because basically you're destroying your soil. Unfortunately, that's what we do in our lawns. We basically plant a monoculture. So there's not a lot of this natural organic process that happens. So we put down this chicken feed or crushed soybean, whatever clean organic matter you can put down your lawn. I would avoid manures, by the way, not putting down manures. A lot of times they're real high in phosphorus. That's why. Put down this clean feed. And then this year, we're going to be taking, like we did a little bit last year, we're going to be using the super juice, not as a fertilizer, but as a biostimulant. And why is that? It's because super juice is very, very mild when it comes to nutrients. Very seldom do you see a stimulated response from spraying it. It's more about health. If you look at all your biostimulants, if you look at all your root stimulators, if you look at dethatchers, you know what the ingredients are? They're probably going to be humic acid, fulvic acid, sea kelp, and then maybe a little bit of a nutrient or two in there. That's what they're going to be. And what is super juice? Super juice is a powdered form that you can take a scoop, you can put it into water, and it has all that. It has humic acid, fulvic acid, it has sea kelp, it has a 7:1:2 nutrient ratio, very light. It has 3% iron, which is nice, and it has micronutrients. So you have all that in a scoopable dry form that you can put into water. And then we're going to be adding the microbe packs, the same microbial packs that we're using for like Dirt Booster. We're going to be mixing that up. We're going to put down the chicken feed late in the day, right before nightfall, late in the day. And we're going to be spraying it with this spray, and then we're going to be watering it and trying to get it go down. And what's going to happen? Well, that microbial action, just like in the compost piles we do, that microbial action will start to digest everything and it'll start to kick in. Soil microbes are the absolute key to a healthy soil with carbon. So carbon and soil microbial activity are what will make your lawn healthy, and you can reduce your fertilizers, this is especially true. Now, this is for the warmer times, the warmer weathers. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be reducing our fertilizer application and using more of this organic matter with the sprays. And that's why I bought that tow behind sprayer, because we're going to be doing that a lot on the lawns, organic matter and the spray. So I don't really use any other biostimulants or any other sprays. I just use super juice with that microbial pack now. And you want to do it in the warmer seasons. Let's talk about another common question that came up is applying products in combination with rain patterns and with weathers. And here's a good thing to understand. This applies to all soils, but especially if you have a clay soil. Now here in Georgia, we have real heavy clay content, so it's red clay soils. And how does that impact, and what happens when it rains? You have silt and silica inside of the clay, and basically you have platelets sort of. And when those platelets sort of get wet, they sort of form a tight sort of pattern, and the water, after a certain point, it gets saturated and the water runs off. So when you put something down like a pre-emergent, when you put anything that's going to dissolve quickly to go into the soil that's not going to stay in place because it's a granular, the way I like to do it is I like to make sure that my soil is fairly dry. So it's been sunny for a couple days and I haven't had rain for a couple days. Then I put my treatment down, and then I either water it or wait for that rain. Because what's going to happen? That chemical or whatever it is going to immediately start to go in with the rain in that upper layer of soil. And now it's going to hold it. Once it's in that soil and it starts to get oversaturated, now the water is going to start to run off. But what already went down into the soil, your pre-emergent, whatever you put out. So the way to think about this is, if I'm going to put something down that needs to go into my soil, I'm going to wait till my soil, the sponge is dry, okay? The sponge is dry, and I'm going to spray that sponge, and then I'm going to put water on, and it's all going to go into the sponge. Well, when that sponge is completely full, the water's just going to run off. So that's why you don't want to put applications on a wet sponge. Make sense? Just think of it as a sponge. You wouldn't want to put product that you want into the sponge when it's wet. You want to put product on the sponge when it's dry. Now, when you add water, that chemical will go into that sponge until it's saturated. Excess water will now run off. So that's how you work. That's how I have that mindset of the applications, weather, and rain. Let's talk about scalping. A lot of people say, when do I know to scalp? I've done videos on this, and scalping is a pain in the butt. It's not something I look forward to. The only reason I look forward to it is because I know for a fact it's that time of year that I'm about to have green grass. So you can go out, and typically when you start to have daytime temperatures that are consistently in the 70s, and I mean consistently in the 70s, they're not dipping down into the 40s or 50s anymore. You can dig down in your lawn, you can start to see green sprigs coming up all over your lawn. So when you start to dig around, you start to see all these green sprigs starting to come up everywhere. Temperatures are consistently in the 70s. That's when you can go ahead and scalp your lawn. Now let's talk about scalping height. All right, this is my standard rule, is that if this is brown grass and you want green grass to grow up through there, you want to take all this down so that you can have short green grass. Make sense? You want to take off at least, so if you want to have 1 inch tall Bermuda, you have to take your brown down to 1/2 inch. It's the 50% rule. If you want to have 2 inch tall Bermuda, then you have to take your brown down to 1 inch. If you want to have 1/2 inch tall Bermuda, you got to scalp basically down to the ground. You got to really take it down low, and that's just the rule of scalping. So make sure that your lawn is ready to kick in, number one. Number two, take it down to at least 50% of where you want it. So if you want 1 inch tall, you got to take it down to 1/2 if you want whatever. So that's the basic rules for scalping. Scalping is just a real pain because there's so much crap out there. People ask, can I burn my lawn off? I had that couple of those questions. You can, but I'll tell you what, you can probably get into a good lawsuit if you want to, as far as the fire getting out of control and damaging other people's properties. It's just dangerous, and it creates kind of a mess. Organic matter on lawns. I talked a little bit about this, but yes, we're going to be adding, because we grow a monoculture. You have to watch Gabe's video in the description below. Trust me, it'll change your life. If you garden, even lawn care guys, you'll understand why we're doing this. We grow a monoculture on our lawn. And it's kind of funny because we see a weed and we run out there and we grab that weed out. Well, what Gabe and the new age of farming is let the weeds grow. Matter of fact, mix in 10, 15 different crops along with your primary crop, because that's how nature works. That's how you get the multiculture, which is healthy for your soil, versus a monoculture, which is bad for your soil. We have monocultures on our lawn. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of replicate the fact that we're going to add a whole bunch of plant-based organic matter to our lawn and let that sort of the microbes digest that and turn that into, go through a humification process, good soil. That's what we're doing out there. We're trying to figure out how we can improve our lawn soils based on the fact that we have a monoculture. One way to do that is humichar. We're going to put down humichar every single month. If you can, you put down as much as you can afford. If you can put it down every month, matter of fact, today or tomorrow, we're going to be doing humichar applications. It just because you want that carbon into your soil. New sod. A bunch of people ask questions about new sod. New sod is real easy. Just be gentle. Don't do aeration on it. We never dethatch Bermuda anyways, but don't do anything aggressive with it, and don't use pre-emergence. Put a light coat of PGF Complete down on your new sod, maybe a couple times during the first season, and just leave it alone. You're going to have weeds. Don't worry about it. It's that second season where we can come in, where the roots have established, that we can come in and put the pre-emergent down and control the weeds. You just got to live with a few weeds the first year. You want to just leave new sod alone. The primary thing you're focused on is making sure it gets the right amount of water. That's all you got to do. A little bit of fertilizer. Yes, humichar. You can put humichar down on it, but basically you're just leaving it alone and just letting the roots get established. Dirt booster. Dirt booster. Man, I can't say that thing 3 times fast. Dirt booster. I was on the phone with Anderson's and we're finalizing all that. I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks. Now this is for making organic soil mix. I've got tons of videos on that. That'll be up a little bit later in the year. Doc, you were talking about a new spreader. I've got a new spreader that I'm going to be showing you guys. I try and bring in new products every year and just play with them and show them to you. But there's a lot of low-end spreaders, like 150 and below. And then there's this class of spreaders that's really high-end professional. Like they're all stainless steel, like my Anderson's LCO, which is like a $600 spreader. Beautiful spreader but it's really designed for professionals. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a larger hopper unit that's a mid-range price between that cheaper one and the real expensive one, and that's the one that I've ordered. I've got it coming in. I'm going to make my son put it together because he's working part-time for me now. I'll make my son put it together, and then we'll go out and test it, and we'll put a bunch of stuff out in it. But I think you'll really like this spreader because it's got a nice big hopper. It's got 13-inch pneumatic wheels on it. It's going to be a really nice unit. So I'll be featuring that this year. I've got a toe-behind spreader I'll be showing you. I did a video on my sprayers, and the reason why we're doing sprayers this year, the pull-behind, is because we're going to be spraying the Super Juice and Microbial Pack on top of the organic matter once the warm temperatures. Once we start to see that 80-degree mark start to approach, we're going to start putting that down on the lawns. The other thing what I get asked is fertilizer choices. If you go to, I'll link in the description below, but PGF Complete, we actually redid that website and it shows all 3 fertilizers now. It shows PGF Complete regular, which is a 1648. There's PGF Zero Complete, which is a 1608, zero phosphorus. And then there's the 10-10-10 PGF Balance. Now, we do the Jumpstart program on our lawns, which I'm going to do early. I'm going to do probably next week for you guys, start showing you. But basically, we put down humichar and we put down a light coat of 10-10-10. And we're feeding the soil so that when the grass does wake up, there's a little bit of nutrient there. There's carbon there. It wakes up into good health. But 16, almost every, without a soil test, every single lawn out there, fescue, cool season, warm season, PGF 1648. That's what every extension office in the world, Google it. Every extension in the office will say a 4:1:2 ratio, which is 16:4:8. You're basically putting down. The only exception on that is probably centipede. Centipede does not like phosphorus, so you probably want to use the 16:08 on centipede lawns. Get a soil test done, because I will tell you, if you have a centipede lawn and you have really, really low phosphorus levels, you might want to add phosphorus. The only thing with centipede is you don't want high phosphorus levels. It does not like high phosphorus. So basically that's where we're at on that. Sorry, I bumped my camera. Okay, I had to rearrange stuff real quick. So let's talk about leveling next. I got a lot of questions about leveling. When do you level? You should level during the active growing season. Otherwise, you're going to have leveling mix and material that's going to get washed away. That's not going to be held in place by healthy grass. So I really wish we could. Sometimes I use a leveling company, and I really wish they would start earlier in the year, because you're scalping and you've got all that grass out of the way. Perfect time to level. Here's an important point. You don't level your grass, you level your soil. Put that note in your mind. You're not leveling your grass, you're leveling your soil. So if you're going to do a leveling project, if you want to make your life real easy, take your grass down low. If you can take it down to dirt, take it down to dirt. It's going to take a little bit while to come back through, but take your grass down low. Take it down to 1/2 inch at least. Let's say take it down to 1/2 or 3/4 inch, and then do your leveling. Do your leveling during active growing season. Take your grass down low. Don't take it down to the dirt, but take it down very low, and then typically use either sand or a leveling mix. I'll link in the description below to the leveling mix that a lot of people use. If you're in the Southeast, if you're in South Carolina, Georgia, there's a bunch of different states that they sell these bags of leveling mix. I'll link to them in the description below on that page. I'll link to the leveling mix. They deliver them right to your doorstep. It's a lot of work. And so if you can get a company to do it, most leveling companies use a little bit different mix. They're a little more heavy sand, but it makes life a lot easier. I'm not doing a whole bunch of leveling because my lawn is so whacked out of level. I'm just like, whatever. I just have a little bit of a weird lawn, but it looks great. So yes, if you're going to do leveling, make sure you follow those rules, and I'll link down below. During the active growing season is when you have to do it. Another question came up about rolling lawns. You know, that's the video that never was, because I actually got all this gear together. I bought 2 rollers, one that you push and one that you tow behind. One you fill with water. It's like 100 and something pounds. The other one you fill with sand. It's like 300 pounds. And so we did all this testing on this rolling, and we know what we found out? It makes almost no difference, because there's so many factors involved. Number one, how much elasticity there is, pliability within your soil is going to impact it. So your soil has to be really moist. Number 2 is the weight of the roller based on the contact area. So there's a very small contact area. If you have a big drum, there's only a small contact area. So you have to take your full weight divided by the contact area. And here's what we found. You basically have to have a steamroller to really level your lawn, or to really make an impression on that. Now up north, you have frost surges. So the soil freezes and you get these frost surges. And they actually have services, and they use a small steamroller. It's like, 1,200 pounds. And they'll actually roll your lawn. Now that will have an impact. That will actually level out your lawn and get rid of a lot of the stuff, but you don't want to do that a whole lot because it compacts your soil. What we found is that the rollers that you're using, we went over areas almost 10, 15 times, and there was no difference in the actual flattening or leveling of it. So what I say is don't waste your money, don't waste your time on a lawn, don't bother rolling it. Aeration. I get a lot of questions about aeration, so let's talk about aeration. Core aeration is the best. It pulls a core out and it relieves some of the compaction. You'll want your lawn trimmed down low, cut your grass low. You'll want to do it during the active growing season. So we typically do that once we start to hit the 70s. You can do coration all the way through the fall. If you go read the experts, they will tell you to leave the plugs on your lawn. What I will tell you is that you're free to do that. I pick them up because they cause a mess. As you ride over those plugs with your mower or whatever equipment, they turn into what I call silver dollars, and they're turned into these round little squashed pancakes, and they cover up your grass. And if you pick one up after a couple days, you'll see yellow dying grass under those plugs, and they're all over your lawn. They just make a mess. Now, people say, well, they return nutrition to your lawn. There really isn't that much nutrition held in that little plug. If you want to add some nutrition to your lawn, if you want to do something good for your lawn, do an aeration, put down a light coat of fertilizer, put down a bunch of humichar, put down some organic matter like the chicken feed or soy, spray it with microbes, and just leave it alone. And in about 2 weeks, you're going to go, damn, baby, that's a good looking lawn. So yes, aeration, core aeration, pick up your plugs if you can. It's a pain in the butt. I use a leaf sweeper, the push leaf sweepers. That's what we use. And I don't do it. I make someone else do it because it's exhausting. It's a good way to have a heart attack, by the way, when you go pick up all those plugs. I won't do it anymore. I'm getting too old to do that. All right, guys. So I hope you had fun with this little talk we had. Again, hit the subscribe button. We'll be doing more of these step by step. We're doing a whole bunch of videos this year. Talk to you later. Doc.